We start in the garden with an Acer, which is in the shade. And interplanted with it are, we've got bulbs, which are like a little lilac bluebells, and Japanese anemone, which will come up in autumn. And in here is also an oregano, which seems to do all right in the shade. Here's a Dorbenton's kale, and that's been chopped recently, but it seems to be doing really well in the shade. And the ones I had in the sun, I've actually moved to more of a shade position because they seem to do really nicely there. And here I've got a mixed bed of plants, and half of it is ornamental and half of it is edible. I've got an erigeron here because I just really like how the daisies will spread, so I'm hoping that actually it's going to spread around a bit, the seeds from that. I've tried to do this one from seed before and it has never worked, so this one I actually bought. That's a rosemary from a cutting. That's parsley, and that's parsley from a supermarket, just a pot that's been put in, and it's the next year, so I think that's it. You would get this year, you'll get a bit from this year, and that'll be it from that one, because they're not perennials, but they can go over the 2 years. So I think they are a biennial, I'm pretty sure. This is a perennial rocket, which is quite strong. It's good and strong. And in here is lavender, which may end up being too big for this space, and a chives, which is coming nicely into flower. Here is like a little herbal type of ivy, a hosta, cyclamen, a little bit more rocket, but I'll probably redo this portion here, and potentially this may, if this is doing too well, that may have to go out, even if I put a smaller one in for now. And then here is blackcurrant, and I've just moved this from where it had been because it was getting ants, and last year I had no blackcurrants at all. We've got an ant here still, but it still looks better from being in a pot, so I'll see. I've just put in here calendula, and it's one from Sarah Raven. It's double Indian Prince, and so it's got a really nice orange colour, but I want to use that for calendula, for making salves out of, hopefully. We've got a small fig, and I think I've put dill around this one. This is a saxifragia, and it's so cute when they grow, but this might actually need to go more in the shade. But I've done this before. I've filled this and the whole thing has been covered, and then you separate it out. Another oregano. This is a 9-star perennial broccoli here, and I've taken out the florets. And what I'm looking to do now is to actually, because I've got quite a few of these in the garden and they do really like the sun, but apparently use these as a cabbage alternative. They've got a nice cabbagey flavour, so I'm looking forward to actually trying to use those as cabbage, as a perennial cabbage. Here we've got skirret. I've got a load more skirret in the front. I've put it in here because it's got such a deep root, so I wanted to actually try and use this pot, even though I've got it for a grape, which is in here, which I'll show you in a minute. I wanted to use it to see how the roots would work in there. Is it Elysium, which is great for hoverflies. And over winter I put in these, which were a crimson broad bean, simply to get the nitrogen fixing in the pot, and also because it had a really good colour. I'll be happy if I get beans off of it, but the reason I did it was more for the colour and also just to get some nutrition of the nitrogen into the pot. And as I said, this is the grape, which I accidentally chopped a little bit off from here, which was twisted around, which went that way. But never mind, it might make stronger grapes this year. And so this is grape here, but what I've done is I've actually put a cherry here in this pot. But I'm going to try and keep it small, so it's not too big for the neighbours, but you've already got some cherries starting here. I want to see how small I can keep it and still be productive. And this has just got some bulbs, just like some I don't know if that's I just think they're a bluebell actually in there. And in here I've got some creeping thyme. I'm growing creeping thyme, and I've tried marjoram again because I don't think I'm very good with marjoram, so I've put it in again to see how that will do. So that looks like that here. This side looks like this, and this is a really quite small space. This is a south-facing wall here, whereas this part goes more into shade, but in the summer it gets quite hot. And here I've got a pot with sort of more ornamentals. So we've got peony in here, and I've got delphiniums coming up here. And this is the idea of also I've got thyme here, which is struggling a bit, and I'm just not sure whether to put it in the shade or the sun, because even though it says sun, I think it does better in the shade, but I'll see. And here is a fig that we've planted. As yet we've not had figs from this, even though it's been fed and watered. So I'm actually trying a few more of these, which are the potted figs, to see if actually we do better with having them in a pot. I won't give up with trying to get figs. I've surrounded it with oregano as a good covering, and in here as well I've got different calendula, because I want to use those herbally. And that's the first part. And that's what it looks like, and that's the most southern wall we've got, I think. Well, it's one of the most southern walls we've got there. And that's to work as a